All right, this year's theme for Earth Day is Restore the Earth, which focuses on the natural processes and emerging green technologies that many say will help restore the world's ecosystems. You know, there's a lot of focus on climate change, and there has been for quite some time now, and the human impact on the environment. Here to talk more about this is UNCC Associate Professor of Atmospheric Sciences, Brian McGee, and we're going to bring Brad into this conversation as well. So, Brad, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Dr. Maggie. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, so behind me we have the chart of the warming temperatures in Charlotte, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about some of the other impacts we're seeing locally, because I think a lot of focus is on temperature, but that's just one part of the equation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got, increases in humidity as well. One of the trademarks of our North Carolina summers.
Yeah, and that leads to these higher rainfall rates. And one of the things we've noticed here in the Charlotte area, especially in the last 10 to 20 years, are these increases in heavy rainfall events. So flash flooding has become a big concern for us as well. The chart behind us shows us that, we've had an increase in the 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch amounts, but also warming based by season. Some of our seasons are warming more than others. Now, when we talk about climate change, I think one of the things that, the feedback I get, and I'm sure you do, is it's a lot of doom and gloom, but that's really not the case. There's actually things we can do, right?
Yeah, I think what we're looking at is a rebalancing of the human environmental balance, and I think there's a lot of positives that are even the story right before this about the solar powered car wash and the attentiveness to the conservation of water, and I mean these are the kind of changes that we're going to be looking at, and we're going to see these happen in our lifetime, and that to me is a pretty exciting change, even if it's somewhat imposed on us because of our past habits.
What do you see one of the biggest impacts that climate change is going to have on us in our lifetimes? I think oftentimes we think of long term, but just in our short period of time that we're here, what do you think is going to be the one calling card that we will see in our generation?
In terms of positives, I think what we're going to see is a huge transition in how it is that we get energy from the world around us, right? This is the human environment balance. This is the idea of how it is that we power our cars, how it is that we power our homes, our devices, how it is that we produce our goods and services. And then we're going to see that energy transition unfold very, very quickly in the next, say, 10 to 20 years at least.
And where do you think the research in climate change is going to go from here? Is it going to, because one of the topics that often gets brought up is mitigation versus adaptation. Where do you think the next frontier is going to be?
Mitigation is absolutely the top priority in almost every bit of climate change research, and the underpinning of adaptation and then geoengineering are all about how it is that we can reduce our carbon emissions and minimize how much climate change there's going to be.
Great, well, thank you. I mean, I think this is a positive day. A lot of times people see, we've got all these issues going on, but as you mentioned, there's so many positives to be taken out of this bill, and I think that's the thing I come away with every time I talk to someone about this, is the little changes every one of us can make to make a big difference going forward.
Yeah, it's interesting to point out, what's positive, because so often the conversation dwells on the negative. So pointing out what's going right and the advances that we're making, is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you saw it today with the car wash, and a lot of that, like Brian said, that wasn't imposed on them. That was a choice that they made, and you're seeing more of that happen day and day.
Yeah. All right, Brad, thanks. Brian, thanks. I'm sure we'll invite you back for more conversations about the environment. Very enlightening. We appreciate it.